People everywhere are starting to listen to him. He's going on French, British, Italian, Japanese television.
This is the Wide World of Weingarten.
Wide World of Weingarten, Wednesday, February 9th, 1 a.m. Technically the Tuesday episode, but I'm just getting around to recording on Wednesday morning. I had a lot of prop stuff to do all day, a lot of Super Bowl stuff. It took up a lot of time. My phone broke. I had to go to the iPhone store, the Apple store, and deal with that. And then I had to take a break tonight to watch the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett. So I'm finally getting around to recording, and I have a whole list of props to go through. Stuff I've bet, stuff I'm going to bet, explanations for why I'm betting. Most of it, not everything needs an explanation though. And tomorrow I'll be on Gil's show, so I'll probably be on Gil's show before this actually comes out and is edited. And then I did the Circles Off Super Bowl podcast with Rob Pizzola and his partner, so that should be coming out tomorrow. That was fun. Excuse me, I got something on my face. It looks like, nope, just my mustache maybe. But yeah, so I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of different media stuff on VSiN, mostly every day leading up to the Super Bowl. You'll get to hear my thoughts on different platforms. You'll get sick of me before the week's over if you haven't already. But without further ado, here are my props so far that I've bet for the Super Bowl. Neither team to score 3 unanswered. So that would be either team to score 3 unanswered. No, plus 195. I bet that at DraftKings. That was the best price. I've seen it as low as plus 170. Any player plus 400 passing yards, plus 850. I bet that at DraftKings. The reason for that is because Circa has it priced at plus 425. So I'm getting the price at double what a sharp book thinks the line is. But I did look this up. I was interested to see how many quarterbacks historically have thrown over 400 yards in a Super Bowl, and it's only 2 quarterbacks. It's only happened 3 times. 2 of them were Tom Brady. The other was Kurt Warner. I was actually surprised about that. Thought it would be higher. Will the game go to overtime plus 925? I was tempted to bet that. I think I would like a little bit of a higher number. But that was a borderline novelty prop that I almost bet. I did not bet it. Total players with a pass attempt over 2.5 plus 160 at the Westgate. I like that. I like it a lot. I've talked about it. I'll continue to talk about it. The Rams have run a wide receiver option pass with Odell Beckham and Cooper Kupp at different points in the season. So we know they already have a wide receiver option pass installed in the playbook. Johnny Hekker has thrown trick plays, trick passes before. I would not be surprised to see a trick play on special teams. I would not be surprised to see a wide receiver option pass from the Rams. That says nothing about any potential trick plays out of the Bengals as well. So give me over 2.5 players with pass attempts at plus 160. That's at Westgate. Johnny Hekker to attempt a pass 6-1, also at Westgate. I like that a lot. As I mentioned, he can throw the ball. He is a very athletic punter, and the Rams definitely have trick plays installed and ready to use for the Super Bowl. Johnny Hekker to complete a pass plus 1050 at Circa. I don't like this as much as the 6-1 to attempt a pass, because you could win regardless of him completing a pass. It's very unlikely that he has 2 pass attempts in a game, so I'm much higher on the 6-1, but I did bet both. I'm a sucker for higher odds on some of this stuff. Unfortunately, nobody would put up odds on Hekker to throw the first touchdown of the game. There are odds on him to score the first touchdown of the game, but I would like odds on him to throw the first touchdown of the game. Nobody will offer that. I don't blame him. Eric Weddle. I bet Eric Weddle to win the MVP at 300-1. I know that maybe sounds a little crazy, but it shouldn't. He was on the field for 100% of defensive snaps in the NFC Championship game. He's taking over play calling duties. In the Super Bowl, he'll have the green dot on his helmet. He'll be calling the plays. He's very good. He's in shape. He's healthy. He's rested from not having to go through the grind of a whole season. He could do some things. He could make a play. He could make a couple plays. I think Burrow's going to be throwing the ball a lot, so the safeties are going to get a lot of action, get a lot of tackles, get a lot of chances for interception. So give me 300 to 1. 300 to 1 on a guy who's on the field for 100% of the defensive snaps. He's priced like the same price to win MVP as the Rams' fourth receiver. I don't think that's correct. Speaking of the Rams' fourth receiver, Ben Skowronek, that's who it is. I bet him at circa to catch at least one pass at plus 120. That's a little bit of an obscure bet, but I like it. Leonard Floyd to record a sack plus 140. Greg Gaines to record a sack plus 325. Aaron Donald to score a touchdown, 40 to 1. I've talked about this. I talked about it on Gil's show. I talked about it on Rob's podcast. I'm sure we'll talk about it again tomorrow. You'll get sick of hearing about this, but Aaron Donald's 15 to 1 to win the MVP. He's 40 to 1 to score a touchdown. I don't think he could win the MVP without scoring a touchdown. I do think if he scores a touchdown, he is going to win MVP. Give me 40 to 1. Otherwise, you're going to have 3, 4, 5 sacks. Aaron Donald having that many sacks to really get an MVP case. So I think give me 40 to 1 when 15 to 1 is the MVP price is a deal. I would like to find a little higher if somebody else will put it up, but 40 to 1 circa was what I was able to get. Eric Weddle to score a touchdown, 50 to 1. I believe that was also circa. Don't quote me on that. I didn't write it down, but Eric Weddle to score a touchdown. Thought that was an interesting prop. Again, he's on the field 100% of plays. Eric Weddle to intercept a pass, 10 to 1. Same thing, 100% of plays, get the most opportunities. He's going to be, he's going to be in position to make game-changing plays. Brandon Powell, MVP, 500 to 1. I made a small bet on this. When I say small bet, I mean like $100. He's the kick returner for the Rams. Could a kick returner win MVP? You think it's crazy? Desmond Howard won the MVP for the Packers when they won the Super Bowl. Think about that. Think about what it must have been like in '96, Packers-Patriots Super Bowl. I bet Brett Favre was even money, if not minus 110 to win the MVP. Maybe even a little bit of a bigger favorite than that if you think about it. But how far down was Desmond Howard on the list, assuming there were MVP odds in 1996 and someone was actually booking the kick returner and he wasn't part of the field? So obviously this scenario didn't exist, but it's only crazy till it happens. So give me Brandon Powell, 500 to 1 kick returner, MVP. I'm in. Skowronek catch a pass, 120 plus 120 at circa. I mentioned that. Ben Skowronek first touchdown, 80 to 1 at Westgate. You might remember he had a wide open touchdown he dropped in the NFC Championship game. That was his first target, I think, in the playoffs. 80 to 1, a little bit of a long shot for a guy who's only had one target. But I like it. I think the fourth receiver is undervalued here. And speaking of guys who are undervalued on the Rams, Kendall Blanton, I think he'll be the starting tight end. It does not look like Tyler Higbee's going to play. I'd be surprised if he plays. I'd be surprised if he plays and is effective. So give me Kendall Blanton props. I have not bet those yet. That's basically on my list to do tomorrow, or at this point today, early in the morning when I get up again in a couple hours, because I will be on the radio in less than 7 hours. But sleep is for the middle of the day when there's not much going on. This next set of props are, I would not bet a lot of money on these. These are very big long shots, but you have Matt Stafford, who's very brittle and can always get hurt, and you have Joe Burrow who has already torn an ACL. And I saw Westgate had a unique prop that I was really interested in. It was total completions, exact number, for Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow. So I bet both of those. And I bet Stafford 0 completions, 500 to 1, 1 completion, 500 to 1, 2 completions, 3 completions, 4 completions, all 500 to 1. Same for Burrow, 0 through 4, all at 500 to 1. My thinking being that if Burrow or Stafford does take an unfortunate hit early in the game and is out with an injury, these bets cash at huge numbers. They're basically like insurance. Again, 500 to 1. I'm not recommending necessarily, betting more than $100 on these because, I mentioned when you bet props and stuff like this, the money adds up fast and you don't think about it. Especially if you're betting on credit, and you can't bet on credit at the Westgate, obviously. But, if you want to bet $100 on each one of these from 0 to 4 at 5 to 1 each, it's $500 on Stafford, it's $500 on Burrow. You're already in $1,000 on basically an insurance bet. You have to have a lot of actual other bets to really have that be anything but, minus $1,000. But, and I'm not rooting for an injury, but if either one of these guys get injured very, very quickly or early, somebody gets a knee blown out, then you're going to hit a 500 to 1 and it'll be the worst feeling you'll ever have winning a 500 to 1. Ben Skowronek, I mentioned him. Some of these are out of order, but I bet him anytime touchdown 14 to 1. I think I mentioned that yesterday. CJ Uzomah is questionable to play. I still bet him anytime touchdown plus 350. If he doesn't play, the next guy on my list, Mitchell Wilcox, anytime touchdown 30 to 1. That was a very big price. I think that's too high. Wilcox first touchdown for the Bengals 50 to 1. These are basically insurance bets against Uzomah not playing. In that case, Wilcox would split receptions, targets at tight end with Drew Sample. So that's what's going on with the Bengals tight end position. Samaje Perine, the backup running back on the Bengals, I bet him to score an anytime touchdown plus 650. I think that number was too high. I shopped around. That was the highest I saw. What else do I have? Stafford anytime touchdown 5 to 1. I think there's some better numbers out there, but I took 5 to 1. Sometimes you take bad numbers. Brandon Powell anytime touchdown 25 to 1. Aforementioned 500 to 1 MVP. If he does return a kick, I'm gonna get that 25 to 1 out of the way. Be live for the MVP, but at least I could win a 25 to 1 and not necessarily win the MVP. Most likely I'm out $200 there though. Samaje Perine plus two or more touchdowns. Excuse me, I'm reading my notes. Samaje Perine, 2 or more touchdowns, 85 to 1. I think that's way too high for a running back who gets a little bit of carries. He's obviously Mixon's the workhorse, but Perine could somehow get 2 touchdowns, 85 to 1, very high. Sony Michel, 2 touchdowns, 2 or more touchdowns, 25 to 1. I think that's too high. Akers has not been the goal line back yet. Could change in the Super Bowl, especially with 2 weeks prep time. But 25 to 1 on the Michel, 2 or more touchdowns, too high. And then any non-quarterback to throw a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl, 14 to 1 at DraftKings. I really like that bet this year. If you can't tell, I'm very into the trick plays. I will be rooting for the trick plays. I will be the guy in the stands screaming if a non-quarterback throws a touchdown. I got $500 on that. $500, 14 to 1 is decent bet. I still get excited. Anything, some people get excited. They're like, oh, you can't get excited if you don't win $10,000, whatever. I'm like, I can get excited. I can win $500. I get excited when I do whatever I want. So I'm absolutely going to get excited if I win $500 at 14 to 1 on a non-quarterback throwing a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. If you've made it this far, I'm going to give you one more bet that I really like that's available at Circa at a very, very big number. It's probably not going to win because it's available at a very big number. But again, if you made it this far, you obviously care what I think. So Nick Scott, the Rams' other starting safety, 500 to 1. Again, a guy is on the field 100% of plays. He might have been a 7th-round pick from Penn State, mostly a special teams player. But he has been thrust into the lineup this playoff run because Jordan Fuller got hurt. He's performed very well. Actually, he's the 4th highest graded Rams defender behind Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and what's his name? Von Miller. what's his name? So fourth highest graded Rams defender is 500 to 1, down there with the punters, the bums, the special teams guys. I just think that's an oversight. One of my philosophies about betting defensive players to win MVP is that you always focus on the guys who are on the field for 90+% of the plays, ideally 100% of the plays, because if you're on the field 100% of plays, you get the most opportunities to impact the game. Nick Scott plays the center field sort of safety position for the Rams. He will absolutely have multiple opportunities to impact this game. He intercepted Tom Brady in the second round, ended his career essentially, I think. Technically, obviously didn't actually end his career, but that was it for Tom Brady. It was a Nick Scott interception. So 500 to 1, stranger things have happened. Give me a starting player who's on the field 100% of the time at big odds like that. I will always take it. So that's what we got there. Gonna take a quick break, and you'll hear a word from our sponsor, and I'll come back and quickly talk a little bit about golf this week. We still got 2 golf tournaments to start, and so here's a word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Wide World of Weingarten. Just ran through a whole bunch of props for the Super Bowl. Very excited about that. We'll do another props episode probably later today after I get some sleep, or maybe Thursday. But still a lot of Super Bowl stuff to talk about. We've barely talked about the Bengals. It's really been all Ram stuff, and the more I think about it, I was thinking about this when I was just watching the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett on the couch before this, but one thing that I think is a little bit of a disadvantage for the Rams is playing at home. Everyone thinks it's an advantage, but there are so many more distractions this week for the Rams, for everybody, for the players. Everyone's hitting them up for tickets. Everyone's hitting them up for party stuff. Everyone wants to know what's going on, and it's distracting. Your family's in town, everybody's in town, your buddies are here. Everybody wants to come to the Super Bowl in LA. You're at home, and it's just there's so many distractions for the players, for the coaches, for the organization to deal with this week that I think, even though people see the home game as a positive and home field advantage, I see negatives. I see that if they lose, the story's going to be, was it distractions playing at home? But if the Bengals win, and I think the Bengals will say afterwards, if they win, that they were just kind of not so much happy to be there, but everyone was paying attention to the Rams. The story was all the Rams, and they're just kind of, there's no pressure on them. So I don't know. It's just something to think about, something to look at. That it's not as easy playing at home in the Super Bowl as you might think it is. Beyond that, we have some golf this weekend. We have the second tournament in a row at the same course in Ras Al Khaimah. Gotta look into that a little bit more. I made a couple bets. I mentioned Nicholas Nogard Muller and Marcus Hellenclyde were my favorite bets there, but I don't have much beyond that yet. I haven't had a chance to dive into the odds. But I have had a little bit of a chance to start looking at the waste management. I'm going to do some more tomorrow. I did see Chris went to $10,000 limits on the outright market earlier tonight, and John Rahm got bet down by somebody. I don't know who that somebody is, but I suspect I might know who they are. Got bet down to plus 490 pretty early, which is cool because I'm a John Rahm fan, and there's some 7-to-1s offshore still available. Probably some 6-to-1, 7-to-1s still available by the time this gets out in the morning. But it's just something to take a look at if somebody real sharp is betting Rom down to plus 490, and he's still available 7-1 on Wednesday morning. It's definitely a bet for me. Rom's always bet for me. So I bet Rom. I bet Rom to win. Rom top 5. Rom top 10. I don't have the top 5, top 10 number in front of me at this exact moment, so please forgive me. Like I said, it's 1:30 in the morning. I've been doing prop stuff for 16, 18 hours at 2 meetings in between, and busy day, man. But I really wanted to get this prop episode out, so we're doing that. Anyways, golf. Rom to win, Rom top 5, Rom top 10. Hideki Matsuyama top 5, top 10. Victor Hovland top 5, top 10. I'll promise I'll pull these numbers in the morning, and we'll do golf more thoroughly on Wednesday. Get basically a double Wednesday episode later on, an evening Wednesday episode. But Hovland, I think you really just got to bet Hovland top 10 till he falls out. He's just playing so well right now. Another desert course, so I expect a good weekend from him. And then Billy Horschel, he's been playing well lately. I got him top 10 plus 550. Don't think I'm going to go much deeper, on the top 10s, top 20s this week. I really like Rom. I really like Matsuyama. I really like Hovland. So I think I'm going to kind of focus on some of the guys at the top as opposed to doing what I did last week and scatter, 10 guys. And I ended up losing some money last week. Wasn't my finest week of golf, but like I said, I knew it was a weakness going in that I never win at Pebble Beach, and I wasn't expecting to. So wasn't necessarily disappointed, but I do have fond memories of winning bets at the Waste Management. So let's get back on track this week. Go Rams, go Super Bowl. Still got my I need tickets sign. Held this up on the radio today. Could still use a couple more tickets to the Super Bowl. But yeah, we'll be back later today. More golf, more Super Bowl props, more everything. Thank you for listening.